Welcome, Alex, to Let's Talk BIM. We're thrilled to have you here to discuss computational design and your upcoming course at Technostruct Academy. Let's dive in for a few questions. Alex, your course covers a wide range of topics from 3D BIM model authoring to advanced computational design techniques. Can you talk us through how the course is structured and how each module builds upon the previous one to provide a comprehensive understanding for computational design principles?
Sure, yeah. So how the course is structured, first we need to begin with some key methodologies that distinguish advanced users of parametric tools from more basic starter users. So two key things that we wanted to start with was to assign metadata to geometry, and then to also be able to do some custom coding with Python and C# in order to expand and simplify Grasshopper scripts and make them more readable. So this is like an important groundwork that is laid down in the first courses. And then we go into more practical design applications and we learn hands-on some important design evaluation and analysis tools, such as Ladybug and Honeybee and so on, in order to be able to, evaluate our designs and so on. And then in the end, we dive deeper also into the generative design world and to the optimization world for architectural design, in order to get the key value from parametric design, which I think is that we can identify even better solutions with these tools than we would without them. And that we can prove also that they are meaningfully better than our initial intuition possibly, or the solutions that, or at least other solutions that we could propose. So I think it's a structure that gets us all the way to the more meaningful applications of parametric design, and that's also how the course was structured to address that. Yeah.
Okay, well, interesting. That's pretty well-rounded. Thank you. Let's move on to the second one. One of the modules in our course focuses on parametric design and modeling using Rhino 3D. Could you elaborate on some of the advanced tools and techniques students will learn in this module and how they can apply them to create complex architectural forms and geometries?
Yeah. Sure, yeah. Even with traditional tools, you could essentially create complex forms. Like even with a piece of paper, you can create a complex form. But what parametric design tools really allow you to do is that you can incorporate changes very easily, changes in requirements. And this is why whenever you have an advanced geometry, a parametric design framework can allow you to incorporate changes and to incorporate that suddenly a certain width has to be different. And with the traditional paradigm, you would have to start all over again or start your model almost from scratch. And that's why the traditional building world would be more biased to simpler design forms. And with parametric design, like the big difference is that instead of modeling an object, you model the logic through which the object is generated. So because you have stored the logic, then when you update a certain input, the model updates itself if you have set it up properly, of course. But this is why parametric design really allows us to also be braver and create even more complex forms. And of course, like in order to address even more, even better performance, even better buildings, and even more satisfaction for the users and better for the planet. So I think it is important to be able to do these things, to consider at least more complex forms, and parametric design really allows us to do that.
Okay. Well, that's amazing. Good to know. Another key aspect of the course is parametric design analysis, which involves using Grasshopper plugins for Rhino. Can you discuss some of the tools and methodologies students will explore in this module and how they can use them to optimize design performance and efficiency?
Sure, yeah. So indeed, the great power of Grasshopper is that it also has this vast array of plugins that exist in the Food for Rhino platform. And these expand they use the functionalities that Rhino and Grasshopper out of the box can provide. So they expand it in really meaningful ways. Two of the plugins that we will really focus on would be like Ladybug, which would facilitate environmental simulations, which for a more sustainable built environment, it's really important to think about environmental simulations from very early on. So it's really important to have this extension of the Grasshopper into being able to create these kind of simulations very early on in the project. And the other plugin that we will heavily discuss in the course would be Elephant, which allows you to assign metadata to geometry, and then you can go closer to the world of BIM and the BIM paradigm, where geometries have a meaning and they are not just cubes, they are a door and they are a handle and so on. Like these kind of things. With the Elephant plugin, you can assign meaning to geometries, and then you can make much smarter solutions for architectural projects. So these are two very key plugins, but we will actually go through even more, some that are more functional in order to improve how we have our scripts tidier and so on, and how to improve our workflow in the parametric world. But yeah, let's say these two are some very meaningful extensions of Grasshopper that we will be looking at during the course.
Okay. Hands-on experience is crucial for mastering computational design, I believe. How does your course incorporate practical experience and projects to reinforce theoretical concepts and help students develop their skill in the real-world scenarios?
Hands-on experience is key in learning parametric design for architectural purposes, because Grasshopper is a software that you can use to model a bolt and to model a full city. So it's not like other software, let's say Revit, that is really specialized on a specific scale. You can address like very different projects. So learning just Grasshopper without a specific application in mind is really difficult. It can go in very different ways. So that's why teaching a course really focused on the AEC industry and to real world applications really helps the students understand exactly the kind of problems that you can address with the tools. Essentially, you can really start seeing the real world problems that you get in projects, and how your standard software might not be able to address them, and why you really need to generate a bit of your own algorithms in order to really address them and to find your solution. So it's really important to do that with real world problems and with real world annoying restrictions of projects,
Nice. Can you share some example of the types of projects students will work on throughout the course, and how these projects will reflect the challenges and opportunities they'll encounter in their professional careers?
Yeah, so we will engage in a variety of projects from a tower scale. We will also work on a bit larger plot scale, and even going to a master planning scale. And in all of these projects, we will show how we can incorporate sustainability and efficiency, impression of aesthetics into our solutions, and how we can balance through these requirements.
Okay, and I see your course covers advanced topics like algorithm development for generative design. Can you discuss the specific software and plugin used in this model, and how to empower students to create innovative and adaptive design solutions?
Yeah, sure. Generative design especially like gives us the possibility to also be surprised by the solutions that the software would propose. Traditionally, designers and architects would use their intuition and their studies in order to generate specific design options and evaluate them, but traditionally these would be limited in number, and they might risk missing an option that might not be considered just due to bias. Of course, if you are a very experienced architect and an amazing architect and a designer, you might really directly intuitively go to the best option, especially if the design space is very restrictive and there are 10 different options. You might directly understand which one is the best, but of course not everybody is the best architect, and also you can prove that really this solution is the best by also comparing it with this vast number of solutions that the computer might generate. So in any case, I think it's a very, very important tool for today's times where this is possible, that you can generate a large amount of variations of a design, and you can really prove that the ones that we go for are the ones that are the most sound option and the best trade-off option between our objectives, because one design might be great for a specific objective, another might be great for another. But what we really will be teaching, and what is really important to think about when we are in this generative design space, is that we will find solutions that are best candidates and they are best trade-offs between the options. And then together with the stakeholders, you can start deciding which parameter is more important, and then which of the Pareto front possible options we will go for this specific project. For sure, discarding the ones that are not best in anything and they are just mediocre options, and you go only with the top options that are really best trade-offs between the solutions. So this is a very key aspect that we will be teaching in the course, and it's really the most exciting bit also, that you allow the computer to generate options and you see things that are surprising, and then you try to navigate and find really the best solution in there. Like this will be like towards the end of the course, and this is really the most exciting bit. Yeah.
Nice. Considering the future of computational design, Alex, as somebody deeply immersed in the world of computational design, what do you envision for the future of this field, particularly in the context of architecture and engineering? Are there any emerging technologies or methodologies you believe will have a significant impact in coming years?
Yes, of course. Like, I think there has never been a more exciting time in this field. Like in the AC technology world, things are really rapidly changing. In the past 1.5 years, we have seen some advancements in the AI world that are mind-boggling and unbelievable. Like 2 years ago, we wouldn't believe it, like how quickly this evolved, and it has really changed how we do projects in comparison to 2 years ago, and also what clients expect. Like and also it has blurred the lines between the phases. It has really switched speed of projects. It's really a really fast evolving field. So I think of course this will continue, and it's still in progress. It's not solved. Like also all these new tools make things that might be there are still things in the process that are inefficient. There are still tools that you might try but not succeed in having it be useful for the project. So I think there's a lot of work still to be done in the field, and that's good for us computational designers, because we can shape it and we can really make it what we want it to be. It's really important. One thing we really see is that AI tends to generalize a lot and to provide like very generic possibly solutions, and while in projects designers will really have requirements that are in the millimeter and will have really specific, precise requirements, and to bridge this gap is the big challenge. And that's our task as computational designers, to bridge these two gaps, to get the best of both worlds, but to really achieve, the precision that projects need with of course the aid and speed and amazing tooling that we can have at the moment.
Nice. Last question. For aspiring architects and designers interested in computational design, what advice would you give them as they embark on their journey to mastering the field?
Yeah, so as advice, I think like it is a really interesting field to be on at the moment. So I would suggest like being brave and diving into this world. It's a rapidly evolving field at the moment, so we can really shape it. My advice would be that they really should ride this wave of new software solutions and really start being on top of what comes out and the new techniques that are possible and so on, because it's a really exciting field, and through this we can really shape the future of how we design buildings. So for architects, let's say, and designers, by getting into this world of AAC technology, there is still a lot of creativity in that, and it's that you shape not only the built environment itself, but also the process through which we imagine it. So it's really, really exciting, and my advice would be to dive into it.
I think that's always the case, right? When you go into something new, you have to just trust your instincts and move on to it and get onto the boat and go to a wonderful island.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Alex. This was intriguing. I learned quite a bit. I'm sure our students will be, and they would be excited to learn many interesting plugins from you then.
Yes, perfect.
Well, thank you. Thank you for your time.
Forward.